Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing great. I am. In this particular video guys, I want to show you 3 fragrances where one of these 3 fragrances is enough for the whole summer in my opinion. And if you only want one fragrance for the summertime. You know, not all people want a big collection like me or other reviewers. You know, they only want 1 or 2 fragrances in the collection, you know, one for summer, one for winter, and so on. And if we should talk about these 3 fragrances, guys, I've done so there are fragrances for everyone, so to speak. You know, I've done it so there is 1 clone fragrance, and there is 1 designer fragrance, and there is 1 niche fragrance. So, you know, there's a fragrance if you are on a tight budget, which is the clone, you know, obviously. And then there is the designer fragrance, you know, if you want to spend a little bit more, you know, when we are talking about how much money you want to spend. And then there is the niche fragrance, which is a little bit more expensive, but then again, it is from the most inexpensive niche brand in the world actually. So there is fragrances for everyone in this particular video. So let's just jump into it with the fragrances, guys. I will tell about it in the order I told you guys right before. So let's just start out with the clone fragrance, which is Afnan Torchi Blue, which is a clone of Bulgari Tiger. But I think it's a very beautiful clone that really lives up to the hype, you know. It's pretty similar to the original, but with a twist. In my eyes, you know, Torchi Blue is a combination of Bulgari Tiger and Bloody Chanel actually. But it's very, very beautiful, very fresh, you know, but with some depth into it. And if we should go a little deeper into the particular scent in Torchi Blue, then you are definitely getting the citruses, woods, musk, and spices in the background. Actually, I think that the spices are the ones, so to speak, you know, that are giving Torchi Blue some depth. You know, combined with the amber and musk. There is amber in Torchi Blue as well. I just tell you guys what I think dominates, you know, the particular fragrance in terms of the smell. But the musk actually make this fragrance last a pretty long time, I think, because often when there is musk in fragrances, it makes the fragrance last longer, or at least a pretty long time, you know. It's different from fragrance to fragrance, but in this case, it gives some powderiness into it that lasts a very long time on skin. Performance, guys. Torchi Blue actually lasts a pretty long time. I think I told you guys earlier on that it had a great lasting power. It might need to mature a little bit in the beginning. Remember that, guys. But after the maturing process, so to speak, a couple of weeks, maybe a month, it has a very, very good performance in my eyes. I'm getting, you know, it has a great sillage and it has a great projection for the first 2 to 3 hours. Then it settles closer to the skin. But it is on your skin as a skin scent for a very, very long time. And people will get wafts of it. If you are passing people or they are passing you, or if you are sitting right next to people, you know, it keeps the projection for an arm's length a pretty long time anyway, you know. Longevity all in all is between 8 to 10 hours. And I think it's very, very good when we are talking affordable, pretty cheap clone fragrance, you know. Price point. You can get a bottle of Afnan's Torchi Blue for around $35. So it is pretty cheap. As I told, you are getting a lot of fragrance for your money. If you are on a tight budget, as I told, this would be a very, very great option for a summer signature scent. And that was the cheapest in the bunch, guys, out of these three great summer fragrances for you guys. And that was of Nans, Torchi Blue. Next fragrance I want to show you guys in this video is the designer fragrance, which is a little bit more expensive, but still a very, very good pick. If you want to give a little bit more when we are talking the financial situation, then it's just fine. And it is a very, very good, beautiful blue and very, very fresh fragrance, guys. And that is Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio Profondo. It's just so beautiful and so fresh. It has a little bit more depth into it than the original, EDT, which is extremely citrusy and fresh. This one is as well extremely citrusy, but it has a little bit more depth into it, but extremely fresh. I just really, really love Profondo, guys. Profondo and the discontinued Profumo is my favorite in the particular Acqua di Gio line. Let's move a little deeper into the particular scent, in Profondo. It has a lot of C notes, citruses, musk and amber. Again, these are the particular notes I think they're dominating Profondo. You saw the particular note breakdown right before on the screen, but these are the dominating notes in it. Again, a very, very fresh fragrance with a little bit of depth into it that would be a great signature scent for the summertime. Perfumes. Good sillage. And then it has a great projection for the first 2, almost 3 hours. Actually, it settles closer to the skin okay quickly. You will notice this fragrance after, the first couple of hours, but as I told, pretty fast it gets closer to the skin. Longevity all in all is for about 8 to 9 hours, at least when we are talking about my skin. But now I am talking about my experiences with Profondo. But I think it's very, very good for a fresh fragrance. It is an EDP concentration, but it is also very, very fresh, but pretty good lasting time as well. The price point. You can get Acqua di Gio Profondo for around $90. And then we are talking a 50 ml bottle. It is a little bit more expensive than the clone, Torchi Blue, but it is, Giorgio Armani, guys. And that was the signature worthy summer fragrance, the designer fragrance. Giorgio Armani's Acqua di Gio Profondo. The last fragrance out of these 3 fragrances, summer signature worthy fragrances, so to speak, is from the most affordable niche brand in the world, I think. And that is Mancera's Cedrat Bosé Intense, or Intense Cedrat Bosé, which is just so beautiful, guys. I really, really love the regular or original Cedrat Bosé, which is a little bit more fresh, actually. This one right here, the intense version, has a little bit more depth into it because of a more potent leather note and so on. But I've chosen the intense version because it lasts longer than the original. And then it's still very fresh, even though it has some depth into it. And here you are getting citruses, blackcurrant, leather, a little bit of oud, musk and vanilla. Just very, very beautiful. I don't think the vanilla is that pronounced, First, when you are reaching the very, very deep dry down, so to speak, It's just very, very citrusy with the blackcurrant dominated by the leather in the background. Very, very great. You know, another very great signature worthy fragrance for the summertime. If you want to spend a little bit more money than the other two, you know, it's just gorgeous, guys, and it lasts an extremely long amount of time. Intense Citra Rosé is one of these fragrances that you can wear all year around with a great lasting power. And what I mean by that is that it is so potent, even though that it is a pretty fresh fragrance, that it will last in the extremely high heat as well as in, you know, the very, very cold days in the winter time. I have a lot experiences with this particular fragrance. I've been testing it like I have with a lot of fragrance. When you are a fragrance reviewer, you know, I've tested a lot of fragrances, of course, but you know, this one right here and Mancera, I've been testing it so very, very much, guys. But that was a little side turn. Anyways, guys, this is just a very beautiful fragrance. And now the performance. Intense Citra Rosé has a great and wonderful sillage, and it has a great projection for the first 4 to 5 hours actually, before it settles closer to the skin. Longevity all in all is between 12 to 14 hours, almost until you wash it off, you know. But again, it is a very, very fresh fragrance with some depth, so 12 to 14 hours. And that is very, very good, guys. It is an extrait de parfum, which is the obvious reason why it lasts that long. But then again, it is a very, very fresh fragrance. So I've seen a lot of other fresh fragrances. There is extrait de parfum concentration that didn't last as long as Intense Citra Rosé. And then the price. At the very cheapest on discounters, you can sometimes find Intense Citra Rosé for around $110. And I think that is very, very cheap actually for a niche fragrance. So, you know, there was the clone fragrance, which is very inexpensive. Then the designer fragrance, which is an Acqua di Giò, which is a little more, you know, you have to give a little more for it. And then we got one of the cheapest niche brand in the world, Intense Citra Rosé, you can get for around $110. So 3 fragrances for a very good price, I think, in all the categories. But it is for you guys, and it is if you only want one fragrance, signature fragrance for the summertime. And that was the last fragrance, Mancera Intense Citra Rosé. And you have to be aware of, guys, that it could easily be other 3 fragrances than the fragrances that I've shown you in this particular video. These 3 fragrances were just the first fragrances that went through my mind when I thought about this particular video. And I think all 3 of these fragrances are great signature worthy fragrances in their summertime. It is fragrances that I've been worn very much by myself. So it's obvious for me to show you these 3 fragrances, guys. The video has come to an end, guys. And I really, really hope that you enjoyed this video. And of course, guys, if you have any questions about these 3 fragrances, then write in the comment section down below. I will always answer you guys. And of course, if you have, you know, any questions about fragrances and stuff like that, you know, I will always answer. I always do that. Anyway, I really hope that you guys are enjoying this particular summer, beautiful summertime, you know, with your family, friends, and loved ones. But before I quit this video and turn off the camera, I want to say thanks a lot to my subscribers. And of course, welcome to new subscribers on the channel. The channel are growing, so it's beautiful, guys. I appreciate you guys, you know. But anyway, really hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that you are enjoying your life with your family, friends, and loved ones. And until I see you again, guys, enjoy life even more. See ya.